Called stinging nettle, and it stings you. If you look really closely at the stems and the leaves, the tops, the bottoms of the leaves have got little hairs, and what it does, it pierces your skin and puts in folic acid, and that's what burns. Okay, won't hurt you. I mean, it hurts, but it's not no long-lasting effects. So, stinging nettle. When you collect it, it should be collected before it flowers. These are the flowers. Pretty much dead now, but these are the leaves, and you can pick these and eat them raw. You know, first of all, when you cook them or dry them, the folic acid goes away. And cook them, it gets diluted. Dry them, it just goes away, and you can eat them dried or cooked, and it doesn't sting you. If it's raw like this, if you mishandle them, touch the bottom of the leaves or the stems, there's all sorts of stinging hairs on them, and they'll sting you. So anyhow, what you do, you take the top of the leaf like this and pull it off. This is a tiny leaf. I'll probably eat this one. And you fold the top of the leaf always on top of the top, okay? And you get it into a little thing like that and kind of pinch it, stick it on your molars, and just chew it up. And it tastes good. I've had lunch by stinging nettle patch before because we didn't have any food, and we sat there for half an hour eating stinging nettle. And anyone want to try it?
Yeah, I'll prepare. I'll let you wad it up. So what was the folding technique again?
You get the top. I'll do it on a big leaf so you can see it. Okay, but I grab the top of the leaf, never touching the bottom. Pull it off. You can eat the stem, but the stem's got a lot of hairs on it, the stinging hairs. So I pinch that off. You fold it on top of itself. I'm still on top. On top again, on top again, on top again, on top, and get it about like that, and you squeeze it really good, and then put it on your molars and chew it up.
You said only the smaller ones or the bigger ones too?
No, well, the smaller ones, these ones don't taste as good right now, but the smaller ones, the new leaves, normally you collect it before it flowers because it tastes weird and it's not as good for you after it flowers, but you can take the smaller leaves and do that. So what stinging nettle is, it's a superfood. It's an amazingly healthful food for you. You can buy it in the stores, and when we don't have to, my wife and I collect this all the time. We collect at least 2 or 3 shopping bags, and that's not enough for a full year for us. So what we'll do is we take it home, wash it, and dry it. We just put it in an air dryer and let the leaves get crunchy. And then we just crunch it up and put it in a jar. And then Marianne will use it in all sorts of foods as an add-on into the food to help keep it nutritious. She'll make stinging nettle tea, which is probably her favorite beverage to drink in the world. It tastes really good. And it's super helpful for you. Like I say, it's very high in iron, very high in chlorophyll, and other nutrients and stuff too. It is classified as a superfood, every bit as healthy as kale and all these other vegetables and stuff, you know. So the Indians would use it as a food like that, and they would also use the cordage, the old stems. When these die down, when they lose their leaves, and there's probably not that many stinging hairs. Yeah, there still are. But when it dries out and it kind of looks like this, but this is last year's stem. You can take, if we had gloves, we could pull this stem apart, and me and you could have tug of war, and that probably wouldn't break. It's very strong. So the Indians would make cordage out of it, make rope and bowstrings, all sorts of stuff, you know. And so you can make a really good, strong cordage. And let's see, Yeah, see, it's too. This is last year, so it's dry and brittle.
Design this stuff here is really strong.
Huh?
But this here be strong.
Yeah, but you know, you'd have to. If I had gloves, you could strip off all the hairs and then work it back and forth, and you take the everything but the fiber off. You just kind of work it back and forth. So it's a very important plant. If you're ever by a water source and you have either stinging nettles or cattails and you die from starvation, you're totally ignorant.
You deserve to die.
Yeah.
Natural selection right there.
So you can see there's a lot of hairs,
Yeah.
and they all have that folic acid, which will. But actually, it's medicinal too, because people with rheumatism and stuff like that, they'll take this and they'll put it on, they sting themselves with it, and the folic acid brings a lot of blood flow to that area and actually causes healing. You know?
Interesting.
So, a little painful way of healing, but I don't know what's worse, the aching or the temporary sting. Okay, so what they would do is, you work this back and forth when it's dry. This is kind of green still, and you work, you kind of leave the strings. See those strings? Because you work it back and forth like this, and the chaff will kind of fall off. But what's going on here? It's too green right now to do that. But when this is dry, it's not as brittle like that, and you can pull and pull and pull. Especially if you get like 3 of these together and could just kind of braid them together. You and I could play tug of war all day long and we'd never break that.
Wow. Nice.
It's strong, so you can actually make rope and cordage, to sew stuff up, and it's pretty useful plant.
What is
Yeah.
rope usually made out of?
Well, have you ever heard of sisal rope or hemp rope? You can make a rope similar to that out of this, but this is not commercially what they use for rope. They use actually hemp, which is marijuana.